everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to our 4 for 4 series. We are totally doing the baby round this time, and up for today we're going to do layout 4 and we're going to use 4 photos if you wish to, and then also we're going to be playing with the block go to design, and so that is always a quick page. Very fun. So I'm going to talk about our paper measurements for a minute. I'm going to talk about photos for a minute. I'm going to talk about some story prompts in a minute, and then what we may have up for some embellishment, some ideas. So let's get cracking. Okay, so for this go-to design of the block design, I will have a video linked below that talks more in depth about the block design. You can get more ideas, a lot more ideas, and excuse me, and then there will also be another start to finish layout video below excuse me, and it will be showing the band design. Very fun to go watch that. Okay, so in our layout number 4, and I should have brought a bottle of water excuse me. Wow. Okay, so you can tell spring's coming because here comes the allergies. Absolutely. Okay, so in layout 4 we're going to be playing with 3 pieces of paper. So after this layout, you know, all those leftovers and all those pieces are going to be used to make cards, so that'll be fun. And so of course I have my paper here telling me which is which because I cannot remember from page to page. So for our 3 pieces of paper, we are going to grab number 2, number 3, number 4. Number 1 is not going to make the cut. We are basically done with that till we get to the cards. So in our number 2 paper, which is my pink triangles, yes, we are going to get a 3x9, okay? 3x9 piece of paper. And then our number 3 piece of paper, which is my blue stars, is going to be a 4x5. And then of course the big piece we're going to play with is our number 4, our 8x8. Okay, and I'll go over those again because some people don't want to read the instructions because you're a visual learner. I get that. Yes, I would much rather. I like to be a visual learner, but then I also need the notes as a backup. So I do both and both. But for our number 2, we are going to do a 3x9. Our number 3 is going to be a 4x5, and then our number 4 is a 8x8. And so absolutely there is your measurements, and you could absolutely just start playing. And see, now when I see blocks of paper like this, I just want to start playing. Okay, so let's talk about that for a little bit, because in this layout where I'm going to do 4 photos, but that doesn't mean you have to. You can just use 1. Okay, there's no rule for that. But in these 3 pieces of paper, there are no end to where and what you do with these blocks. I mean, honestly. And this type of design here is perfect for using scraps. Just go to your scrap folder and then just get 3 pieces of paper in different sizes and start playing. Or 5, don't matter. You can even use 7. Okay, and we showed that in the go-to design. So of course with our 8x8, okay, now mine has a diagonal design, and so I like my diagonals going this way, doesn't matter. And so you can simply just put that 3x9 right over top of that, and then you could layer this, and there is your page. You could put a photo here, photo here. You could put 3 photos there, or you could do 4 in a grid right down in a vertical format. You could do that. And then you could also come down here, put your 3x9 down here as a little bit of an anchoring base. Put that piece right there. This makes for a great double page. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so right there, and then you can start playing. You can put photos here, title here, journaling down here, and then play with embellishments. See how quick this goes? You don't even need a sketch for this. You just keep playing, and then you could even tuck some pieces. Of course, you could cut that. This 3x9, you could cut that in half, and then you could extend that band underneath that 8x8 block. You come over here to the left, okay, say that was cut and that was a little bit more extended, and then you could play with this block wherever you want it to be. Yes, and then of course, you know, you can always turn your page and then just keep going. You could put that up there or tuck it underneath. Come down here. Oh, this makes for a nice design too. Yes, no wrong. I think my paper's crooked. I think my whole background is crooked, unless it's my camera angle. Oh, anyways. Okay, so with the block design, you can just keep turning and playing and bring your blocks over here to the right. Who says it has to be in the middle? Nobody, okay? You can just keep playing and layering with your blocks, okay? Or right there, isn't that a nice page? Now this would be a nice 2-page. Okay, this would be your left, okay? And then you come over here on the right and you would just shift that. Okay, and then you just keep on playing with that design. That makes for a very minimalist type of 2-page, but then you can get a lot of photos on that. So with you 2-page gals, just keep playing, and then whatever you do on the left, if you kind of center it in the middle, okay, You could even put your block up here, okay? And that would be a nice 2-page. That would be your left. And then over here, that would be your right. Yes, absolutely. Now, you 2-page gals, don't worry, because in June, maybe July, it depends. Sometime in the summer, we will be doing a 2-page layout 4x4 series. So with these blocks, there's absolutely no rule that says this 8x8 has to stay that way, or this 3x9 has to stay that way. You could cut that in half and put one here on the left, okay? And then you could put one here on the right. Yes. Say if you were doing a horizontal page, okay, this 3x9, you could cut that in half, put half down here and half up there, and then you could do the same with this. You could cut this in half, put half up here and half up, you know, half down here and half up there. You can cut these apart. You can cut them in different sizes, but the quick way is just to leave them in the shape they're in, okay? Now, of course, you know, this is a nice page design, okay, right there, okay. Now, and then, of course, with that, you can move it up, you can move it down, you can keep it in the middle, and then you can even offset it a little bit. No wrong way. Now, for me, I'm going to be using 4 photos. Okay, so let's talk about that. And with our 4x4 series, this is layout 4, so we are left with 1 piece of cardstock. Okay, now when I do my design here, this is the last piece I have left. I may not like this design with my blocks. And you know what I say? Go get something else. You do not have to use this just because it's the last piece of paper in your pile. And then don't forget, you know, we had some, if you had some specialty paper, vellum, if you had paper for matting, don't forget to use those as well on your pages, because this is the last layout, not the last video, the last layout in this series. Okay, so I don't know, with my photos, I'm going to do 4 photos, if I can grab them here, of my older brother. Okay, and so it depends on what for embellishing I do. I may swap this out because this looks a little busy with my other 3 patterns, and I may simply go with white. Again, no rule. You can switch it out or you can use it. There's nothing wrong to, you know, use that for something later on. Okay, so with my 4 photos, I am absolutely using the original photos again. I've already snapped a photo of these, you know, so I have a copy. I've been sharing these with my siblings. Very, very fun. Okay, so with my 4 photos, okay, I may use this for embellishing. I may just layer it on top of there. But when I'm doing a block design, I kind of like... Oh, I don't know. I like this too, where I could put my 8x8 up here, put that on. That would be for a nice, oh, that'd be a nice header. Okay, and then I could come with my 4 photos. Yes, I really like that. Okay, now, what I wanted to say is, and then of course, you know, you could just layer this behind there. Very, very, look how quick that is. I mean, super, super quick. Yes, very quick. But I do like that. I like that orientation. Or I can come over here, and that could be my orientation well. You see what I'm saying? There's no wrong way. It's, oh, that, yeah, I like that too. So there's no wrong way to do that. Really isn't, okay? But that's the block design, and again, that video will be listed below. So on these original photos, these heritage photos from 1966, yes, I will be doing them, and we're going to be playing with some embellishments. But I wanted to talk about, if you want to hang on a little bit more, or you can just come back and see the finished page and be done. But I want to talk about some prompts that you can do, because I was not even born at this time, so I have no way to tell of any stories other than relying on my older brother or my mom for stories about this, okay? And probably my mom would be the best source because, you know, she was more, you know, she was the adult. You know, you can't remember when you're little, okay? Now, here's the thing I wanted to say. Even though someone has written notes on heritage photos, don't always think it's the truth. Okay, because here's what I find amazing. These both say September 1966, and my brother is clearly 2 different ages. So I do believe he's age 1, and I do believe he's age 3. So I don't know if my parents had a camera, a roll of film that lasted 3 years, because they both say 1966. I find that hard to believe. I really do. Okay, so that would be interesting to see what is accurate and what isn't. But that's something when you're dealing with heritage and family memories. it's really from the standpoint and the memory from the person you get them from. I mean, sometimes, you know, you have to wonder, is everything really accurate? But you do with what you use what you have, right? Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about some childhood prompts. And I want to share a website with you. And I will have the link below, and it is from writeshop.com, and it is a blog post or an article, but it gives you 22 writing prompts that spark or jog childhood memories. I have kept this for several years. I'd say a year or two as I do more heritage photos, because there are 22 prompts here, and it talks about what was your beloved toy, what was your favorite hideaway, what was the memories of your parents, what was your bedroom like, did you have to share it with others, do you remember your mom's or your grandmother's kitchen? I mean, there are just so many awesome prompts to jog childhood memories for yourself, or in my case, when I'll be asking my brother, my older brother, about if he, you know, when growing up, because he's not going to remember when he was 1 or 2 or 3, but just when he was growing up. It doesn't matter. So here I am taking photos of when he was little and then pairing them with memories he had just when he was basically, you know, a young boy. So it doesn't have to be everything from 1966. Did that make sense? So that is one of those layouts you do that it is taking on a different viewpoint, meaning the photos are from one year, memories are from another year, and then of course I'm working on it this year. That is how you combine all of these years to making a layout. Okay, now with that, if you have any leftovers, by all means, pull them forward and play with them. Okay, I may do that. I like that gray. I really do. See, I could lay that gray right on top of there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That's how you do the block design. Yes. Now for embellishments, what we may be doing, this is the plan. I'm going to be breaking out the edge punch again. I have something I've been wanting to do with that. And then we're going to break out some vellum and some wood veneer. And I may combine them both. That may be an idea. And the other thing is that we may be breaking out probably one of the oldest embellishment type of things we have, the crimper. Yes, I think that's what we're going to do. I think that's what we're going to play with. I may get all 3 of those in or just one. We'll just see. I'm just have some ideas floating around my head. Yes, and that's not always a good thing. No. So again, I will have that I was going to say video. I will have that website listed below where you can get those 22 ideas. And I don't want to take credit for that, so that's why I'm giving you the link, because that is where that original article came from. I mean, very, very good prompts. So what I suggest is printing that out and keeping that along with classes or anything that you use in your space when you're working on pages. Just, I mean, honestly, just as I was reading them a couple weeks ago, I thought, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, especially my grandmother's kitchen. Loved my grandmother's kitchen with a cook stove. Yes, and I have that on my story ideas to do someday. So definitely it's a great resource. Go look at that. And so come back and I will have layout 4 completed with 4 photos and hopefully some more embellishments. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'm back with my finished page, and I absolutely love how it turned out because I got 4 photos, and they're heritage photos of my older brother. Very, very happy with this, and especially since I had the word hugs in my kit. Absolutely love that, and I'll talk about that just a minute. So if you want to stay to the end of the video, I'm going to talk about a little bit of embellishing and how we bring some of these things together to make embellishments, as far as the twine and the vellum and washi and things like that, and also too the crimper. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about where those 3 pieces of paper landed. And for me, the biggest piece was the 8x8. That was number 4. You can see it went behind my 4 photos. And my 4 photos in and of itself make a grid on top of this block, which is connected to my 3x9. And then my 3x9, I gave it a direct decorative edge, which was my lovely Martha Stewart punch. And this is what I'm saying when you're building a kit. And this is what I found for me over the years. It's like if I just put a couple tools, maybe like 1 punch or 2 punches or 1 punch and 1 stamp and 1 embossing folder, I am more apt to reach them than if I had 8. I don't know what that is. I guess because it's like it's already there. You don't have to go get it. So that's what I'm saying. When you're making a kit, the least amount of supplies, it seems like you become creative with them. I think for me, it's all because I don't want to get off my seat. I think so, yes. And so then also too, with my 3rd piece, which is my 4x5, That was my blue stars. I absolutely used that 4x5 and cut it up, and I made some embellishments. Yes, I made some tabs on each one of my 4 photos to create another little grid format. And so we'll talk about that. And so, okay, so with my block, what I did was I broke out the corner rounder again, because I said this earlier, if you want to bring some softness to a baby page, the corner rounder is an absolute great tool for that, because I did that on these 2 sides of that 8x8, and then also 2 on my tabs. That's exactly what I did. And I'll talk about that at the end, because I do have some new scrapbookers, and they like when I show things because they're just beginning to scrapbook. So I'll definitely be covering that. How to make tabs just out of a piece of paper. And this, you don't need a punch and you don't need a die to make a tab. Okay, and so then of course I added some twine and a border sticker over here on that 3x9, and again we'll be talking about that twine, but look what is at the end of my twine. I absolutely tied on a piece of wood veneer. Oh yes, isn't that cute? That's just something else you can do with twine. And so I left my twine, I attached it a little bit here, and I'll talk about that. But then what I did was I hung a star off the twine, and I adhered the star, but all my twine is loose, okay? But I did adhere the star because I don't want it dangling around too much, okay? And then, of course, up here with my title, very, very happy that I had the wood veneer hugs in my kit, because that's just something my older brother and I do. We don't even have to say a word, but when we give each other a hug, we know exactly what that means. It's just a special connection him and I have over the years, and so I love that, because I didn't want to just say his name, and I didn't just, you know, want to put the year, and so this just really brings it home. And then I will be journaling about that, what this hugs means, and of course his name and things like that, and I'll be putting my journaling right there. Now you absolutely could come down here and put journaling, or you could even run your journaling this way in a vertical format and just run it that way. That would be fun too, absolutely. Or what I've done too when I've had a photo grid is that you see the space right here. Now if I didn't have this 1966 here, I could have easily put that hugs right there, but you can absolutely, I have a piece of paper right here, you can put your journaling right there in the middle of a grid, and that looks fabulous. Yes, I've done that before. I love that. Okay, so with my title, I have my wood veneer, and then I have my cluster and some sprinkling. I have a bow, and then we're going to talk about these embellishments here at the end, because I not only used vellum, I scored my vellum, and then not only did I use a circle, I used a crimper with a circle punch, and then I made my own embellishments with some washi. Yes, so we're going to talk about all of that, and then of course I added a braid. Okay, now someone asked me recently if I do use these honkin' big pearl braids, and yes I do. I have no discrimination whatsoever when it comes to a braid. So whether it's small, because down here I have a smaller one, but up here with the pearl one, I absolutely use them. It doesn't create that much of a bulk. But if you're doing an album where you have basically the same type of pages, you have to be careful where you place your braids, because you don't want them all at the top. It creates too much bulk. Okay, and of course I added a bow, and then I got some enamel shapes in with a star again to go with my star paper, and then my star over here, and then a couple of those little arrows. And I love using these arrows, and they came off this Webster's Pages. Let me find a piece of paper. They came off this Webster's Pages. And it's these arrows right here, and sometimes I struggle using them, but I'll use them for a directional element on purpose, and that was just to lead your eye into my title. Of course, with my tabs on each one of my 4 photos, you'll notice that I have one tab on the left, one on the top, one on the right, and one on the bottom. I did that on purpose to keep your eye going all around. I specifically put those labels all in 4 different places, and then I put a little word sticker that pertains to my story, which is all boy, of course, strong, silly, and then the word hero, because isn't it wonderful when you have a brother who is your superhero? Yes. Oh, I better stop saying that. But yes, he's my hero. My brother, my older brother, is my superhero. And then of course down here I brought down some of the elements that I had up here with the wood veneer and the hearts and the stars, and of course another one that says brother, because he is my brother. And then again, this same embellishment using vellum and the crimper and washi tape, things like that. Again, just those. So you notice I really don't have 3 embellishment clusters. I mean, you could almost say this is one. You don't always have to have 3. It's not a rule. It's just something fun to play with. Yes. So of course my journaling will go there. It'll have much more detail. Now on my edge punch here on this 3x9, you can see that I have some shadowing going on here because of the bulk of the twine, and I absolutely did not glue that down because I like how that shadowing looks, so I just left it raised there a little bit. I didn't put any foam tape. I didn't try to glue it down. I just left it the way it is. Yes, very, very fun. So if you want to come back, I'm going to talk about scoring with some vellum and the crimper and how to get that baby blanket look. Yes, we're going to talk about that. Very, very fun. And of course, I did add a little bit of a border sticker here, border sticker there, and we might call that something else down the road. Yes, border stickers, yes. And so if you want to come back, I'm going to talk about all those, just a little bit more playing and bringing forth all these type of embellishments, the string and the washi and the scoreboard and the vellum that we've been talking about in all these 4 layout. So hang on, I will be right back, but if you don't want to watch, that's completely fine. Come back in a few days and we'll be working on our 4 cards. We do those 4 cards all in one video, so that will be coming up next. Okay, so hang on. Okay, so let's do some more playing and with some embellishing and bring it all home as far as the different things we've been playing with in this series, okay? So you'll see that, of course, I made some scored vellum pieces here and here, and so I'm going to show how we did that, playing with twine a little bit, and also, too, how to make some tabs, play with the crimper, a little bit of everything. Yes. Now, one thing I didn't say in the last segment, that if you have any leftovers from your 4 pages, this is what I have left over, plus this one here. I would just definitely keep them in a pile by itself, and then you can play with them, perhaps using some of these embellishing techniques in with your cards. Just gives you a little bit more to play with, because if you notice that your measurements, the pre-cut papers, that pile is very small. So if you have any leftovers or scraps, just bring them forth when we get ready to do the cards. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is how to simply make a tab. And if you look on my layout, I made 4 tabs right here with that, what size was that, a 4x5. I just cut that down to about 3/4 of an inch piece of paper and then just trimmed it a little bit. But simply how you make a tab is take a rectangle, and with your photo corner you just insert it till it doesn't go in anymore, and then this is the large size. You can still get this at Hobby Lobby, and then you simply make a tab, and then you can simply tuck this tab. I have something sliding. I don't know what it is. You can simply slide this tab in or put it on top of things. There's no wrong way to play with the tab. I mean, all it is a corner punch and a rectangle piece of paper. Okay, you can even make them small too, and that way you have little tucking pieces. Okay, now some of these will have little dispensers on the back. You open them up, and that's where all your little pieces come from. So every so often, don't forget to clean that out, because otherwise it'll just pop all over on your layout. Yes, and so there are 2 little tabs, very, very quick. You don't need a punch or you don't need a die to have a tab. You can just simply use a corner rounder. Love this tool. I think this is one of the top 10 tools for scrapbookers. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so now let's talk about twine a little bit. Okay, now we talked about that earlier, but I want to show in my layout I did a lot of twine wrapping, but then how did I know I was going to have enough to do a bow? Well, I'm going to show you a way. It's called a Tasha trick. There is no way you ever have to remember that you have enough tails to make a bow. I'm going to show you how to do that. Of course, I'm going to do it on a smaller format. So what you do is you just start with your twine bundle. Okay, and here's something my mom taught me way back in the day. Say if you have some twine and it just isn't staying in put, and you need, instead of using washi tape to keep it secure so don't keep unraveling, what you can simply do is take a pair of scissors, make sure you're not going to cut your twine, of course get your twine out of the road, and you cut a little slit into your cardboard piece, and then your twine will stay right there in that. Isn't that fun? Yes, my mom taught me that years ago, like when I was in grade school. Yes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this a piece of paper, and we're going to say this is the front and this is the back. Okay, we're going to start with the back, and we're just going to take a piece and use some washi to secure that down. Okay, that's all you have to do, and of course give it that little bit of crease on each side of that twine, and that keeps it tight. And so we're simply just going to wrap. Okay, don't matter, you can wrap till you just like the look of it. Okay, and so then you're going to cut your twine. See, there's no bow there. You don't have to worry about that. There's no bow and no tails. That is gone. We never have to worry about that ever again. No. Okay. So we're going to take another piece of washi and secure that end. Okay. I don't think I got that tight, but it doesn't matter. Okay. And then you can spread these out to where they are lined up linear one by one, or you can bunch them all up. I like a little bit of both. Okay. I like them lined up and I like them bunched. Okay. So then what we're going to do is take another piece of twine. And then this is where the magic happens. You don't have to worry that you ran out to make a bow. You just now come in wherever you want it. On my layout, you see I came into the middle. That's where I wanted it. But say I want a bow here at the top. So I'm going underneath. I'm going underneath that bundle. See? And we're simply just going to tie our shoes. That's all we're going to do. Okay, and so the beauty of this is once you get this started, okay, once you get this started, where's my little pointer? I can move this knot wherever I want. I can move it there. I can move it down to the bottom, or in the middle. I can even move it down here at the bottom, okay? So you can move that bump where that knot is, where your bow's going to be, wherever you want it. Yes, you no longer have to remember or gauge, am I going to have enough of a tail? No, because what we're going to do is we're going to add the bow afterwards. See, there you go. That is the Tasha trick. The Tasha trick, okay? And then to get a better bow, I showed this earlier, but I'll show it again, is that you just play with your tails and you play with your ears and you just keep making them, you pull them, okay? That pulling of your loops there, your ears, every time you do that, that just makes that, that knot a little bit tighter, and then you get a better bow, okay? And then now, see, you can cut these, and voila, there is your little bow, wherever you wanted it. Absolutely fun. Yes. Okay. So now let's go to the next thing where we play with the vellum and the scoreboard. Yes. Now this was way back in the day because vellum was the thing at one time. Because you remember back in the day, we didn't have all these embellishment packs and ephemera packs and layered chipboard. We didn't have all that. No, we had to make our own. So of course vellum was the thing. Do you remember mulberry paper? Oh, I was actually looking for that last year. Can't find it anywhere, but where's my scoreboard? Okay, so what we're going to do, if you look on my layout, and you'll see better in the close-ups, is that for my embellishments here, my vellum pieces, I have one that is scored and one just layered on top of the other, and then down here these are scored. And so scoring vellum creates such a great look. There's only one tip you have to remember when scoring vellum, is that vellum is more delicate of your paper than, you know, piece of pattern paper, so you have to be careful with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a piece of vellum here. I just did a circle so you could see that, but our end result is going to be this right here. Can you see that? You see how those lines, they just are more defined and they're just very pretty. Just another little thing. Okay, so what we're going to do is take this piece of a vellum shape, okay, if you can see that there, and what you can do then is fold it in half one way. Now why would you want to do that? Just so it helps you gauge the center when you do your scoring. And then you can fold it the other way, okay, and fold that in half, meet up those little fold marks, okay. So there you have, what is that called? Crosshairs? Yes. So then what you can do is you can take that to your scoreboard, and then you absolutely use your stylus and you line those fold marks on your score. Now what I do is I just pick a number, okay? And then I put that, say I'm using the number 4, and I will line that fold up in that 4 mark. I think I just moved it. Oh, okay. And then that's what you get. Okay, and then you can come over here and do the opposite side. Okay, now see if I can line up here. Okay, I have to line up a little bit. Of course, I can't really see anymore. There we go. I think we're lined up. Okay? Okay, and so then you can keep making as many marks as you want in your vellum, but scored marks in vellum creates a really, really good effect. And again, it's just paper. Yes, well, vellum's almost considered a specialty paper, but you can make an embellishment just with vellum in your scoreboard. Yes, okay. And then what is fun is when you take a scored piece and layer it on top of a piece that's not scored, again, just another look. You can just keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. Yes, and then you can just put your brads. You can even put a button on top of that. braids, yes, absolutely. Okay. Oh, I'm glad I pulled off the button. I want to talk about something. So that is scoring with vellum. Very, very fun. Scoring is not just for cards. No. Now back to the twine for a minute. You see how on my layout that I took that wood veneer and I put it at the very end of my twine tails. That's just another place to put wood veneer, especially wood veneer that has holes in it. You can absolutely let it hang from your twine on your pages. Okay, so the next thing is the crimper. Yes. Okay. Now, since we were just talking about vellum, you absolutely, with the scoring of the vellum, remember you can run crimper. You can run your vellum through the crimper too. Okay. Now I have found that you can only run your vellum through one way, and that's the only way it'll show. I guess because it's thinner. Because what I'm about to show is it's called the baby weave or the blanket weave. It really doesn't happen on vellum unless you have a thinner piece. My vellum is kind of thicker, so I would say try this next technique on vellum as well. But you can crimp vellum, yes. Okay, so let's talk about the baby weave. And so all this is that you are running a piece of paper. You're running a piece of paper through, and it doesn't have to be just white. It can be pattern paper. It can be anything. Because on my layout, I ran my crimper through with these little gray pieces, and you probably won't see it until the close-ups, but it just adds another little texture. It's just with paper. So of course you run your paper through the crimper, and how you know to start your crimper is that of course you do not hold on to the release. You know, let that open. Don't press that just yet. And then you see these two arrows tells you where to go, and you go until you see this move. Where am I at? There we go. Okay. I guess you got to have that release a little bit. So you go until you start seeing this turn, okay? That way you know you got it started in a wheel, okay? Watch this over here. So then you clamp it shut and then you run it through. Now I will tell you, of all the years, this is absolutely one of the first tools I bought way back in the day. This is over 20 years old. By Fiskars, and it's just I keep on a ticking. Yes, but crimpers do lose their grip, and I can tell with my crimper it's losing its grip a little bit. But no matter how many times I've used this tool, whenever you run your paper through the crimper, of course it's going to be a different size. It's going to be shorter because you're absolutely crimping your paper. Remember how we crimped our hair? Yes. We crimped our hair. Remember that if you started with a long piece of hair and you crimped it, it was shorter. It's the same way with your paper. But then also too with crimping, don't expect it to be exactly straight. It's hard to do that. So then what we do is we have the absolutely crimping, nothing wrong with that. You can take your punch shapes with the crimper. They still sell these crimpers. And then there's another embellishment with the crimping. Okay, but then there's another technique you can use with the crimper, is that you take your crimped piece and then you run it through. You see how these lines are going horizontal? Well, we're going to flip this after it's crimped, and we're going to run it through again, and we're going to give it now another look. So we're doing the crimping in two different directions, and what happens is that you get a paper that now has a design of what we call the blanket weave or the baby weave, either one. And then again, what do? You come over here and you can punch this, okay? Absolutely. I mean, is that just not, do I have a piece of paper to show that on? Is that not just wonderful? I don't know if you can see it. Is that not wonderful? Yes, absolutely. So there is the crimped piece, and there is the blanket weave, the baby weave. I mean, isn't that fun? Yes, I will never get rid of this crimper. Never, never, never. Very, very fun. Okay, so again, don't forget to crimp your vellum as well. But I can't really get the blanket weave on my vellum. I think it's because it's a little thicker than normal. Okay, now let's talk about washi a little bit, because this is something I've showed in several start to finish videos. But I used it again in this layout because when I was working on this page, I wanted a pop of yellow. Well, I only had 3 pieces of paper and I didn't have any yellow in leftover, so I made my own yellow paper. Now, how do you do that? With our lovely washi. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, so let me get my little pile here. Yeah, I hope this was a little bit of fun showing, talking about these embellishments, because right now we're kind of bringing everything we were talking about, bringing it home and making some embellishments using all these different techniques. But when you're using these, maybe one time just play with a blanket weave, or one time just play with the washi trick, or one time play with the twine trick, the Tasha twine trick, okay? You don't have to do them all on one page like I did, but it's fun to play. Okay, so one of the first things And this is the Vanessa trick because my lovely friend Vanessa taught us this way back in the day. Okay, so you want this washi, but what do I want to say? You like the look of washi, but yet when you put it on your layout, it kind of disappears because you don't get to see it. Well, what Vanessa taught us is that you take your washi, put it on a piece of white cardstock, and then you will get a better image. Okay, so I just use pieces of pattern paper that I don't care for, and I will use the back of it, and then I will run my washi the whole 12 inches, and then I will take my trimmer, and now I have my own border sticker. Okay, very, very great use of washi. I think this was a game changer for me. Absolutely. I've told Vanessa this. When she showed us this, it was like I fell in love with washi all over again. I mean, it really is. Because now you can take this, because it has stability, now you can take it to your punches, your edge punches. You know, you'd want to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, and I'm going to show all that. But you can now run this through the edge punch. Yes, there's just so many things you can do with this. Okay, so on my layout, you can see I didn't have any yellow paper. So what I did is I used my yellow washi and I made my circles out of that. And you would say, well, that washi is awful skinny. How did you do that? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're going to talk about that. Okay, but isn't that lovely? The Vanessa trick, totally a game changer. Okay, so what I did in my layout is that I ran 3 strips of my washi because my washi was thin. And then what I did was I took my circle punch, and of course with this washi you would line it up side by side. Okay, don't have any of your white cardstock showing through. It doesn't matter if it overlaps a tad, but don't have any white spacing. Okay, and then of course there you go, you're punching, and there you just took your washi, took it to the next level, and now you have embellishments. I mean, look at this. There's a border strip. Yes, border strip, and we made it with washi. Now we have some circles made with washi. Okay, I want to show you something else you can do. Okay, now with that, you can take your washi. Now I have some pink here, and it's kind of wider, but I ran 4 strips because I want to use a bigger punch. Now look at that. There we go. There we go. We can make embellishments with washi. I just, like I said, game changer. Okay, now here's another thing you can do with your washi. Is that right here is what it looks like just with one run across. But say you take washi and you double it up. Guess what? You get a different look every time you double that washi. There are some washis that I just don't really care for the color, but then if I double it, it shows up better on my layout. So don't forget to double your washi as well as another way to use that washi. Just wonderful. Okay, so then of course, how did I adhere my embellishment pieces that I used the vellum and the scoring and the crimping and the washi? What I did was I did not adhere those down. I absolutely made holes using my little push pin. I've had this for so many years. And using a push pin, and you can just use a, oh man, I've had this push pad forever too, is that you can use a push pad or a computer pad, something foamy, and then I just poke holes, and then that is how I secured those 2. Okay, because it's vellum, sometimes it's hard to adhere vellum. And then you can see on the back, I just ran my brad the whole way through all those layers and secured it with a washi tape on the back to cover it up. And that is how I adhered those. Okay, they're not glued down whatsoever. Okay, now my pieces, my yellow washi here is glued on top of the gray is glued on top of the vellum, but the actual whole piece itself is just attached to my layout with that brad. Okay, very, very fun. Okay, so I hope that gave some more ideas when it came to embellishing. I hope you enjoyed these 4 go-to designs in this series, but that doesn't mean we're done. No, we're going to keep on playing. We're going to come back. But as far as our 4 layouts, we are done. I hope you enjoyed them, and please share them on Instagram, hashtag RTS Scrapbooking, and then also too on Deborah's Facebook group called Love RTS. Absolutely share and enjoy. And even if you don't want to share, go look what everybody else is doing. So motivating. Yes. So that is all I have for today. Come back in a couple days and we're going to still be playing in the 4for4 series. We're going to be making 4 cards in the next video. Yes. Okay. So have a great day and come back to RTS because you never know what we're going to learn. Bye.